Hello everybody, welcome to the greatest hockey team of all time tournament. This is King Ikibu, who is your facilitator of this tournament. And what I have done, using Action PC Hockey by Dave Koch Sports Incorporated 2010 edition, historical hockey simulator, we're going to find out who is the greatest hockey team of all time. I've taken the 112 greatest teams, divided them up into 16 groups of 7 teams each, using a random name picker. So it's totally random how or which teams are in which group. Each of the 7 teams will play a 36 game round robin against the other teams in their group, with the top 4 teams going on to the playoffs. So let's look at Group A. That's the one I'm working in right now. And the team that dominated this group was the 1974 Philadelphia Flyers, the Stanley Cup champions of 1974. They are a team that has a lot of depth, no outstanding offensive players, as you can see here. The highest is Bobby Clark with an 8.2. The rest are in the 7s and 6s. Their defense basically in the 7s, but their goaltending was incredible with Bernie Parent. He is a 10 rating for a goaltender, which is the highest possible. But as I said, they dominated this group with a 27-6 record. The second place team was the 75 Buffalo Sabres, runners-up in 1975 to the 75 Philadelphia Flyers. They had a lot more offensive firepower, with a lot of 8.0 and up rated offensive players and higher rated defensive players as well, but their goaltending was not as strong. And they finished second in this group with a 21-13-2 record. The third place team was the 1968 Montreal Canadiens. They won the Stanley Cup in 1968. They were led by their 2 Hall of Famers, Jean Beliveau and Yvon Cournoyer. They also had a very strong defense. You can see they have 2 defensemen in the 9 ratings with J.C. Tremblay and Lapierre. They also had a young Serge Savard, and they had 2 excellent goalies in Rogie Vachon and Gump Worsley. Now, here's where it gets interesting. For the final playoff spot, we have 4 teams still in contention going into the last weekend of the season. The real NHL could only hope for this kind of setup for the final weekend where all teams are in contention. Right now in the driver's seat are the 2010 Chicago Blackhawks. As you know, most people remember this team. They're a very talented team with a lot of depth. And this was before the team was dismantled because of financial reasons, but a lot of great players, excellent defense with Duncan Keith and Brent Seabrook. Their Achilles heel, why they're not really firmly in the playoffs, is their goaltending. Antti Niemi, 6.8, 6.5 is the average goaltender in this rating system. Cristobal Huet is below average. And you can see he had a 3-5 record, while Niemi had 12-10. So they are in 4th place currently. The 5th and 6th place teams are tied. First one we'll look at is the 1999 Dallas Stars. They were the Stanley Cup champions in 1999. You can remember the Brett Hull toe in the crease final goal controversy, and they have a very strong defense, as you can see here, with Darian Hatcher, Richard Matvichuk, Zubov Sidor, and Craig Ludwig. And offensively, they're led by Brett Hull, Joe Newendike, and Mike Modano. They also have excellent goaltending with Eddie Belfour and Roman Turek. And they are still in playoff contention. Tied with them in 6th place or 5th place is the New Jersey Devils of 2001. They were the runners-up to the Stanley Cup that year, but they have a lot of great offensive players with Alexander Mogilny, Peter Sikora, Ilyash, Jason Arnott, and Gomez in his prime, not like now. And also just a really good defensive group with Scott Stevens, Scott Niedermayer, Ken Danico, Colin White, and Rafalski. And of course, in the between the pipes, Martin Brodeur. And the last place team currently, but really they have their destiny in their hands, and we're going to see why in a minute. The 1986 Montreal Canadiens. They have 2 games left, and that's why I say that, only 3 points behind Chicago. They are led defensively by Larry Robinson, Craig Ludwig, Chris Chelios, Rick Green, Peter Svoboda, and Tom Kurvers. They have excellent defensive forwards. They have Mats Naslund, Bobby Smith, Ulf Dahlen, Stefan Richer, Mike McPhee, Ryan Walter, Chris Nyland, Guy Carbonneau in his rookie season. They really have a lot of excellent forwards. And their goaltending, well, it's Patrick Waugh's rookie season. He didn't play most of the season, as I recall, but Doug Sotart was a starting goaltender. Actually had a higher rating than Waugh, but Waugh had a 10-10 record, and Sotart was 3-5. Now, going into the last weekend, we're going to look at the games that are left. We have the 86 Montreal, which is currently in last, 3 points behind Chicago, playing Chicago at the United Center. And Chicago, basically, if they win this game, they are in. They have to win. Montreal has to win to stay alive. If Montreal wins, then they play the next day. Well, they play regardless, but it'll be meaningful, playing next day against the 68 Montreal Canadiens. So if Montreal, this is why the destiny is in their hands. If they win both of these games, they'll have 36 points, and unless Chicago gets a point in overtime, so if they win in regulation, then Montreal, and they win the final game, Montreal will be that 4th place team. Dallas and New Jersey play against one another on the final day of the season. Now they have to hope that Chicago loses in regulation. They can't even finish in a tie. They can't go into overtime. They have to lose in regulation. Then this game will become meaningful, as the winner of this team would be in 4th place until this game is played. So there's a lot of things that are going on. That's why I say Montreal, 86 Montreal, really has a destiny in their own hands. If they win both games in regulation, then they will be the 4th place winner. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play this game for you. You can see how the game is played, and I'll do it in a next video, but you will see just how good this game is, and maybe someday you will purchase it for yourself and enjoy what this game has to offer. But this is King Icky Boo signing off. I hope you're looking forward to this tournament, the greatest NHL team